Hey everybody, welcome to In Three Nerds We Trust.
Oh yeah,
I'm Tina Jan, and
I'm Jennifer Higgins.
yeah, we are two nerds, and you're our third nerd.
Welcome in today.
Yes, nice.
So Tina, what we talking about today?
Today the topic is real estate related. We're talking about the Compass and Anywhere merger. I don't know if you guys have heard about this at all. Do you know what this is, Jennifer?
Yes. I know they're calling it a merger. From what I understand, it's kind of an acquisition though, right? Well, they're merging but being
Yes.
acquired. Yeah.
Yes, I think you're right.
So in the midst of all of my sleuthing for this event, which I'm super excited to see what you came up with. So Compass, this is kind of Compass's MO. They really do like to acquire in order to grow. And they've actually done a pretty good job of limiting attrition, limiting agents leaving after they've acquired. So I have a little slide here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So Anywhere would be their 15th acquisition since 2014.
Wow. Wait,
And it's
hold on.
not just real estate brokerages. They acquired Contractually, which is a CRM. They acquired Glide, which is transaction management. They acquired a title company. So they're kind of built by acquisition, which, we're not here to poo-poo on anybody's business style or how they decide to grow, but it's just kind of interesting to me.
That is really interesting. Um, yeah, I did see that they started around 2012, right? So you said starting around 2014, they started acquiring. That is crazy. And to get to the level where they can acquire anywhere is phenomenal. So I think I saw somewhere, not anywhere, somewhere
Yeah.
online that Compass is the biggest real estate company. Second is Anywhere, followed by EXP. Your company, Real, is number five. And I think it goes down from there. I didn't know. I stopped paying attention after five.
Well, which I don't understand how those metrics work because as I dove into it, it looks like Compass has what they call like a primary agent, which is kind of like a team leader or something kind of running their own internal office.
Hmm.
And of that, I only saw that they had like 15,000. I did see that they have right about 40,000 members total, but Anywhere is actually quite a lot of different franchises. So, do you want me to go over that? Do you want to go over that?
Sure, you can go over that. I know that Sotheby's is one of them, I think, and
Sotheby's, Century 21, Better Homes and Gardens, Coldwell Banker Commercial, Corcoran, and ERA are the different franchise groups that Anywhere owns.
those are big names. They're global.
They are. And so with this acquisition, it could bring them up to approximately 400,000 um, members,
Wow.
which is, I think, the thing that worries the most people
Hmm.
because anytime that you have a that large amount, um, things can skew your way or it can kind of disrupt the industry in a
Hmm.
good or a bad way.
Hmm. Yeah, they become kind of big and they can uh kind of be the biggest voice in the room.
Right. And so I sent out texts to quite a few of my friends, both franchisees that own like Coldwell Bankers and other of these franchises,
Hmm.
just to get their feeling about it.
Hmm.
And I know from what they're saying, they feel like it's kind of status quo. It's not going to change their franchise because they're the franchise owner. So
Right.
they can lay down the law of exactly how they want things to go. Um, I did hear a little bit that the technology, which is something that Compass really touts
Hmm.
as
I
theirs
heard that as
being
well.
number one, is
Hmm.
supposed to be passed down or, made a little bit equal between
The different.
Compass. Right.
Oh, okay, nice. So they get access to the tech that Compass has or what they tout. So anywhere companies would be able to get some of that.
That's what I understand.
Hmm.
That is what's been put out there. Now, this isn't who knows what could actually happen. The
Yeah.
other big thing is quite a few of the people I reached out to were concerned because it lends to such a large market share with this
Hmm.
acquisition
Hmm.
that they were worried about antitrust. And so
Hmm.
actually um, currently they're waiting for the Department of Justice and the Federal Trade Commission to actually finish their regulatory review about it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if it does go through, if it's not blocked, then it doesn't even look like it'll be in effect until the end of 2026, which a lot of things can change by then as well.
Right. I saw some of that. I was kind of interested because in the past I had heard that, Compass had offered some of their agents some type of like they can purchase shares in the company and things like that. So I wanted to see with this acquisition or merger, like how that would play out. Would those Compass agents that had purchased those shares, would they be like rolling in it now or something? Or but I didn't see very much of that when I was doing my research, but I did see that the Anywhere agents that had purchased stock, their shares would they would get like I think I saw something like 1.4 um Compass shares or something like that. I'll have to
Huh.
like double check that. But so it seems like they would get some benefit from this merger acquisition.
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't come across that at all. I did see that because of the concern, because of both of these entities understanding that it has to go through at the FTC and the Department of Justice still, that if Compass has to back out due to that, they will still owe Anywhere 350 million. But if Anywhere backs out of the contract, they owe, for any reason, they owe Compass 200 million.
Wow. I know that with the acquisition, Compass is supposed to be taking on Anywhere's debt. Like,
Uh,
yeah, I read, what was it saying? It was saying that, oh, okay, so back to the shares. For every one share they had of Anywhere, it would be exchanged for about 1.4 shares of Compass. Um, and then, yes, I saw that their debt that they were taking on as well. I'll get back to you on that. I didn't write that in
no
my notes,
worries.
but I did see that basically, I think Compass is like 1.6 billion of valuation. If they merged, they would be like 10 billion in valuation, but they'd be taking on somewhere like, I don't know, something, some amount of debt from Anywhere as well. So,
The one thing that in my head came up, and I don't think that I've necessarily seen it anywhere else besides my crazy little brain, um, is that it is a lot of money. And from what I've read, Compass has only really been able to show that it's in the black these last two quarters.
mm,
Every other quarter beyond that, because they had, I honestly would probably think because they're acquiring companies, right?
yeah,
So they're spending money out. And this seems like it's a big swing. Um, to be in the black for 2 months straight and then to jump into this kind
yeah.
of makes me think there's more to it.
It's more
Um,
volatile than it looks.
not more volatile, but like they're gaining numbers perhaps for a different reason, and I worry that they could be overextending.
Mm.
Like the last time I thought of that was when Purple Brick. Remember when they came out during
Yeah.
the Super Bowl and they spent all that money on those uh what are they? The advertisements in the Super Bowl. We all know how expensive those are, right? There were
Yes.
like two or three of them that they did. And I
Wow.
was like,
Yeah.
that's an awfully big expensive swing. And
Right.
literally within that year of when they tried to come into the States, they folded in the States.
Yeah. Did they survive
So
in England or Europe where they started?
I believe so. Yes, I
Oh.
believe that they're still going in Australia and England, but they pulled
Hmm.
out of all of the North America
Hmm.
regions, which is interesting.
So, um, I like how you went in that direction because that's not the research I did.
Awesome. Go for it.
I went in a slightly different direction. And if it ever swings back to stuff that you research, feel free to interject anytime you want. You can just
Okay.
like tell me to be quiet and like interject. But I went in a different path. I was kind of saying like, okay, with this, merger, what were other things that Compass was dealing with? So recently, Compass was dealing with that lawsuit that they have, or they were suing Zillow for something, right? They were
Yes.
suing Zillow for basically trying to control rather than giving choice. And that's like a theme. So I went down the CEO of Compass like rabbit hole. So their CEO,
Okay.
his name's Robert Refkin. He's only
Right.
46 years old. He's really young, I would
Right.
think, for like your typical CEO, right? So
Right.
he started out Compass. His mom was a real estate agent. He like went to college at Columbia, got his master's or something in Columbia as well, worked at Goldman Sachs for like 6 years, 6.5 years, and then in 2012 started Compass based on things that he had observed with his mom struggling as a real estate agent, trying to find like tools and support that she wasn't getting as she went from company to company. So you and I both being in real estate, we kind of see the movement of agents in that way. Like
Yeah.
that's something that's pretty common. They're trying to find a home and they're trying to find support and they it's never maybe sometimes never what they're looking for. And it's different. This kind of support everyone needs is very, very different, right? And
Right. There's
so,
there's no one size fits all. Sometimes it's based on the people in the office.
yeah,
Sometimes it's based on the support they get from the broker. Everybody is quite different in what suits them best. Absolutely.
right.
And it changes too across the course of your career.
Exactly. Like I started at Coldwell Banker. I felt like as a newbie agent, I really needed their stability and their name to uh, have some support behind me. But as I grew, I realized I didn't need those things as much anymore. They were great for when I was starting for my specific needs. And then later I felt like I didn't really look for that anymore. So, but anyway, so that's how the Compass company seemed like it started. For me, this merger is more of a way, at least from my point of view, I think this is more of a way for him to gain a huge market share of the real estate companies and use that as a way to pressure Zillow, the MLS, and NAR.
I
Because,
would agree. And actually
yeah.
part of my research did went along the same lines. And that's why I was
Oh,
saying like
nice.
it's that I think it was an important thing that with numbers they can
Hmm.
also fight these fights a little bit better
Yes,
because they can say with membership.
right.
Um so what do you see or keep on going with yours and I'll interject when
So, I noticed I like went onto his Instagram, trying to see what kind of message he was putting out as far as his CEO, his vision. And I noticed a lot of that kind of quote I mentioned before that he's comparing Compass as being a choice versus Zillow, MLS, NAR as being control, the way that they function versus the way that he, runs his company, wants company Compass to be. I don't
right.
know. That's his narrative, right?
Right,
I'm
right,
not
right, right.
agreeing or disagreeing with any of that, but that's his narrative, his story, his theme that he is uh like put not pushing, but like influencing to his Compass
Yeah,
agents and
right.
maybe future anywhere agents, right? And so then he has some quotes and stuff, some examples of the comparisons between Compass and the MLS and Zillow and NAR. And then I also listened to their 2025 Compass Retreat keynote video on YouTube. It's
Okay.
about 40
Okay.
minutes long, but it's kind of like those Steve Jobs, this is the direction of Compass, kind of thing. And
Right.
listen to that. So I wanted to be like the person in the background trying to see like what's going on their side, like what they're talking about. And he really was kind of saying that um with Compass and the way that they can do private exclusive listings is going to help their clients more than if it was just broadcast out there onto the MLS, Zillow, and other like portal sites. He gave examples, and the examples, of course, were I thought they were good for the examples that he gave. Basically, he was kind of saying Zillow itself in 2014 offered coming soon listings where you
Right.
could only see it on Zillow. But now in 2025, they're the complete opposite. They're just saying, it must be on Zillow within 1 day. There is no coming soon, anything like that. And, you know, I don't really know or care about that direction, but
Well,
I,
okay, let's talk a little bit about that.
sure.
So their marketing, and this is the biggest thing that I've seen pushback personally online with is companies, and I get it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so they offer their clients opportunity to do off market in-house marketing first.
Yes.
And they like to say that that's for, like, say your home's not ready yet, say
Mm-hmm.
you need to paint still, say there's stuff you still need to do, but just in case, if somebody really wants your home, they can come to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which there is coming soon still in a lot of different MLSs. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
hard thing to argue because MLS is very across the whole United States. We can only just discuss our MLS that we're with because that's so hyper local.
Right.
And our MLS does have a coming soon.
Yes.
And it does have a day that it will officially go on market. So the the biggest thing, and there are legitimate needs to have something not be actively listed on market too, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like judges who don't want people to know exactly where they live. There's law enforcement that don't want people to be able to access their home, where they might need to stay private the whole entire time.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an important carve out, but it's interesting to me that it's a business decision,
Mm-hmm.
because to me that means that you don't want the actual community at large seeing this property, but you want to give your agents a chance to hit the ball first,
Mm-hmm.
right? So to
Yeah.
me, it's a business decision, and I can't see for the majority of my clients that that would make sense for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that any seller, the more eyeballs you put your home in front of, the more that you're going to be likely to sell and get maybe a little competition for that sale.
Right. Um, on the Compass side of things, from what I see is their reasoning behind that is, like you said, they can use the private exclusive listing within company to test the waters without having certain metrics like days on market show up, without having certain metrics like, oh, we dropped price point again, and having that show up on as a record on the MLS or
Right.
on Zillow or something to detract from these listings. It's a way for them to control the narrative of how hot this property is. So they can say, like, for their example that they gave on his like 2025 keynote retreat video, his example was that he had a home that was kind of in an exclusive neighborhood. He knew that the views of that property were really good during sunset. The seller did. The seller felt that it was really good views at sunset. So they were controlling it where they would only allow showings at sunset, which you can still do on the MLS, regular, right?
Yeah,
But they
that's so
wanted,
interesting.
yeah, it's very interesting. But they wanted to control every aspect of it and
Mhm.
when it would start and test the waters beforehand. And so it gave buyers during that time a sense of tension, a sense of urgency because they could all only see it during this time frame of like golden hour sunset where they're like lined up and seeing each other. And we know that when there's a buyer parade like that, there is a sense of tension. So I kind of see that.
Yeah. But I'll also say, so for that particular scenario, I was talking to other agents and we actually were talking about realtor safety, right?
Hmm.
And one of the agents mentioned that she does not show homes when it's dark only because she
Hmm.
knows that she's going to have to reschedule when it's light again because
Yes.
nobody makes a decision after dark.
Oh,
They
yeah,
want to be able to
absolutely.
see everything. So
Yes.
they might have done their first showing, but they're going to want to see it again during the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Like nighttime showings, in my experience, have never turned out well because
Right?
you can't see. There's a like they want to see the light and how it like hits the walls and how it feels, and you can't really get that at a nighttime showing.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think So tell us more about, I mean, we've talked about the MLS and we talked about Zillow. So yeah, Zillow,
Oh, yeah,
I totally think that the numbers thing is a way of fighting against Zillow,
I think so.
MLSs,
I really do.
and NAR, and I would agree with that. And
I
I would say
agree.
like from my part, I mean, I serve as an NAR director,
Hmm.
and the rules don't stop the as it stands. The rule does not stop Compass from doing business as usual.
Hmm.
The rule conforms to what they want,
Hmm.
but they keep on making it seem like NAR is fighting against them because I
Right.
think that they think it's a bigger fight. So
Yeah. I
I think
did
there's more to
notice
come.
on there that, for example, NER does allow the private listings, right, within
Yep,
a company. That is
yep,
currently allowed. It's not against the rules. They are
right,
welcome to do that.
right.
The one thing that I saw them post about was actually a response from our MLS to them regarding how they wanted to have the old school book, kind of like a exclusive book list
Yeah,
of the listings. And they were saying, like, in transparency, they would allow outside agents, not in their company, to go to their company to look at their book of listings, which at that point I saw they posted, this was in the Compass video. They posted a letter or an email that they got from our MLS saying that that was not allowed if you allowed outside agents to go in to see your
correct.
private listings. I'm like, that is true. That is currently what it is. And it was interesting that he was like, the CEO of Compass was like, well, I'm trying to be transparent. I want it to be open and you can see our exclusive listings, which is interesting because I'm like, okay, like I'm for transparency, but at the same time, just another budding point
Hmm.
between NAR, the MLS, their clear cooperation, whatever things that they're talking about, and some other, I really feel like this merger will not only grow their company, but it really is to beef up their side as they have beef with Zillow, MLS, and NAR.
Which, how many fronts should you be fighting with at a given time? How much does that drain your coffers? And so, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, in my mind, you're acquiring this massive, I mean, what did I say? 340,000? Let me see. Yeah, something like Compass currently has about 40,000 agents. And if
Mhm.
they acquire this, they acquire like another 340,000. Now, all
Ooh.
of this being said, like, we understand that you say 340,000 members.
Hmm.
That doesn't necessarily mean that all of those people are producing.
Yeah, it's
It
probably
doesn't
like
necessarily
a quarter
mean,
of them.
yeah, but they're members, and so
Mhm.
they have votes and they have rights, and they should be served by our National Association of Realtors and
Mhm.
our states. Um, but I just think there's just so many fights that are going on in between all of these things that it's very interesting. And that's kind of why, like, when we started talking about the topic, like, I wanted to do this with you because we both go down different pathways, and then just hearing everything to kind of come up with your own decision.
Mhm.
Um, oh, there was another thing. What was I came across? I'm a little worried about, I think our whole, I don't know, everybody, because people are becoming so reliant on ChatGPT and not doing things like this, where you go to different sites and go
Oh
down
yeah.
different rabbit, like,
I love ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT, but the information is you need to double check that information. I have caught it so many times just fabricating
hallucinating.
facts. Yes. And
Yes.
I call it out and I'm like, this is not true. And he's like, oh, my bad. You're right. So
Yeah.
be very careful.
Well, and yeah, I had a few people who I reached out to that weren't quite aware, were this wasn't quite top of mind, and that's fine. Like I had one that sent me a response that was very chat GPT, and I went,
Oh my gosh.
this worries me because it's me, it's you. We're doing a podcast. This is really just seeing what your true gut feeling is.
Mm-hmm.
And to have honest discussions, which I think are good about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I do think I am a little bit worried about antitrust. I do
Mm-hmm.
think that that's adding that amount of people through an acquisition um, just feels like it could be a little bit more daunting for your local, you know, boutique brokerage, right?
Me.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of fantastic agents at boutique brokerages,
Right.
and that it doesn't make either way style of marketing good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
It just they're just different, and people should have the options of going to different places. Um, I was also doing this Reddit thing. I went down the Reddit rabbit hole because everybody does. I
Yeah,
love
I
Reddit.
went down the Reddit rabbit hole because I wanted to see if there are any people who around the stock issue of like Compass
Ah,
stocks and Anywhere
okay.
stocks. I wanted to see if anyone was talking about that, but they were not because maybe it hadn't happened yet.
Or
I
maybe they're not
just
supposed to, Tina.
okay, sure. But you know they can post anonymously. It's not like their names are
True.
out
That's
there.
true. That's
Yeah.
true. Went down a different rabbit hole where a lady was on. There's a realtor Reddit, not Reddit, um, and she was asking about like how's the best way. I think her son was looking into getting into real estate and like what's the best fit for him. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
well, kind of the same thing you said. When I first started in resale, I started with Century 21
Yep.
because I needed that hand holding and I needed that training.
Hmm.
But once you have that training and you know what you're doing and you know where to look to get answers, then that's when I left.
Hmm.
So I think there's different pathways and there's different fits
Yeah.
for people. I'm very interested. I mean, Zillow is still a big powerhouse on the scene.
Hmm.
It's interesting to see, and of course, they have different lawsuits with multiple different entities that are going on as well.
Zillow does.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So, and again, they weren't originally when they first started, but they are their own brokerage.
Yeah.
So they are also a member of NAR.
Yeah.
And so, of course, we're not here to poo-poo again anybody's business model,
Hmm.
but they are still, I believe, the number one website that people go to.
I think so. It's turned into a verb.
It really has. I mean, it's been what on SNL they had a skit about, scrolling on
Yeah.
Zillow.
Yes.
And good on them and bad on us, right? Good on them for being there and putting the information and getting in front of people. Bad on us as an industry for not curtailing that more and making us more top of mind.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Zillow really focused on the tech side of it first. I remember, did we talk about Zillow or did I just go down the rabbit hole on Zillow by myself? I don't know which option I did.
You mean for in Three Nerds We Trust?
Yeah, was it in
I
Three
don't think
Nerds
we
We Trust
have.
material, or I just decided to go down a rabbit hole of where Zillow came from myself?
I don't
So,
know. Tell us more.
I believe when I was looking up Zillow information before, I think it was actually developed by a woman in tech.
Hmm.
And she was working on basically creating um, a search feature or a note feature where she could, I think it was for New York homes, where she could share information on that all in one thing. And then it grew from there to different places. And then they added the feature where they could sell ads and stuff to agents. And it's grown so much from there. So I think for agents, the biggest gripe is that it feels like we're doing the work. The listing agents are doing the work. And I think it's funny all the time when I hear even my even my boyfriend's sister one time was like, I found this house by myself. My agent didn't do anything. And I think it's hilarious because, okay, so you found the house yourself through Zillow because a listing agent found did their farming, did their footwork of going to find people who need to sell homes. They
Right.
paid for photography to be done, made it really pretty, and put it online on Zillow with a description of what's going on, and you found it yourself?
And I get it. I mean, truly,
Okay.
they at home were scrolling and saw
Yes.
something that they liked, and they feel
Yes.
like their agent didn't like pick it out of a jar and hand it to them.
Right. That is true. I get
But
that.
and again, I think that's us doing not as good of a job as we could
Mm-hmm.
about explaining, like you just did, how it
Mm-hmm.
was an agent that took the listing, that took the pictures, that got it out there, and that it's this data is what's integral to what we do. So this data is how we also find the listings to send it on to you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not our main value. Our main value is making sure it's a fit for you, that there's no high taxes, that it's actually within your budget, and asking all the questions and coordinating and protecting our clients.
Right.
But yeah, I have heard people say, I found it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
sure,
you
you
have
clicked.
free time to look for exactly what you want. I'm
Yeah,
looking for, hundreds of houses for 10 different clients. And like,
right,
I don't immediately know because I'm not you. I don't immediately know what hits your heartstrings. When you see something, you're like, oh
right,
my gosh, this is the one. I'm like, is this the one? Maybe I'm gonna send it to her and see. I also send you five other ones, but we'll see,
right.
So,
Well, and how many times it's just the human condition that they come to us and say they want a three-bedroom, two bath, and
mhm.
end up with either a two-bedroom, one bath, or like a whole different city than we started
Yes.
in.
Yes.
Or, we kind of help coordinate with that and see
Yes.
still what works best. So
I
it's people don't know what they want until they see what they want.
Yes. I think also it's yes, they have to see what they want and they have to see, oh, this is the criteria I gave you. I decided I do not like that. And so
Right.
that's part of our like conversation with our clients. That's part of the going out, like you said, and seeing homes process. They don't know until they get out there and they feel it and they're in it and they're like, okay, no. And I think that's bringing it back to Compass. Um, while there's tech, while there's AI, we talked about ChatGPT in the Compass video. They talked about their AI that they made for Compass agents. In the end, they were acquiring 340,000 agents because no AI can replace
Yeah.
agents helping clients go to physical houses and
Right.
being in that space with them. At least not until they put AI into physical moving robots, and then, okay, yes, maybe we'll be replaced.
But even then, I mean, they can do a lot of things. They still, as of yet, and I know that a lot of you people have been talking to them a little bit too much because like it's therapy or something, or they're your new girlfriend, and they're not. I will always say please and thanks to any AI I use because I always
Sign
say
it.
I'd like to be a loving pet instead of, whatever else they decide to do with us. Um,
Yes.
but like the agents, we can feel when they're stressed. We can read between the lines to see that something is not going the way that they think it should. We can also use our time that we've spent and say like, okay, look, if you make this decision, these are the repercussions. If we make this
Hmm.
other decision, these, and those are your choices.
Hmm.
And I don't see people ever getting completely out of the game. Not people who have the skill set to be emotionally intelligent to help their clients. Uh, no matter how good Chat GPT gets at, therapy,
Yeah.
there's gonna be an issue down the road, and they're gonna want to sue Chat GPT. And oh, you can't
Right.
because it's a one and a zero,
Right.
really.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a very interesting move. And when they first came out with everything, I was just very curious. And so I knew that like I said, I wanted to talk about it with you because we both go down very different rabbit holes and then
Yes.
bring different information back to each other. So I also watched a podcast from, it wasn't the CEO, but it was like the head of West Coast acquisitions.
Okay.
And yeah, he talked to you about how, like, yeah, a lot of times you meet with your client, they're just not ready yet. So you just, you want to sign them right then, but then it could just sit. And he talked about apparently, I believe it's on the East Coast. There is a conglomerate of different brokerages that use a specific, I don't know if it's an MLS-like thing, but they do all share like coming soon listings with each other.
Interesting.
And he had said if everybody was like that, that would be his perfect world. I think that some things are said in public that may not be true behind boardroom doors.
Hmm.
I think that I can just see the things that will impact buyers and sellers and what I feel has done good for sellers and buyers in the past. And that's always been transparency. That's
Hmm.
always been getting all the information out. And I understand that they don't want to see the prices reduced, but prices reduced. That is
Hmm.
kind of data we go by.
Right.
Um, I'm doing a speech on Friday and we were talking about, I was doing some research too. Like 42% of all of the homes that are listed right now have had a
Hmm.
price reduction.
Hmm.
But once those prices reduce to the right price,
Hmm.
they're selling it at 100% of value still.
Right.
So,
Correct data, accurate data is so important for agents to use because
right,
we use that to help our buyers, our sellers, our valuations. I see that it's important for at least agents to have that. And then why not the public, right?
right.
Why not the
And
public?
and it is as we currently stand, we put our data in
Mm-hmm.
and our data goes out Zillow, which is to the public.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that things that happen behind closed doors can be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I have no insight. I'm just Jen Higgins. And
Mm-hmm.
these are the things that I kind of ponder on when I think about what's coming down. But
Yeah,
there's unfortunately, I think with any change, there's some fear.
of course.
Um, and it's just been such an interesting changing market, especially this year.
Yeah.
Um, that I think there's no I can't look on the last 10 years and say this is what we're doing because it's not.
Yeah.
It's gone back to the Wild West a little bit, which is a hard time without the data to be able to support our clients as well as what we can if we have all the
Right.
data.
Yeah. It's been fun recently. It's been crazy. Um, yeah, I don't know. This was an interesting research. Um, I was not expecting to find what I found. I thought, I have to say, like, I thought I would be, because I'm a boutique brokerage, I kind of thought, oh, I'm gonna find big bad, you know, big bad brokerage.
No,
But
not at all.
when I was listening to the CEO talk, I'm like, I found his story to be very charming. And I like that the words that he was saying. A part of me was like, oh, maybe I should join a big brokerage again. And then I laughed to myself and did not. But I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see where the Kool-Aid is. Like, I like it. So,
Well, they're one of the three that I looked at and I talked to, and they are very compelling.
mm-hmm,
Um, I think that just like any other brokerage, if you're a producing agent, there's definitely incentives that they bring into play. But I do feel that for an agent just starting off, it is a little bit of a rougher scale.
mm-hmm,
Um, and honestly, personally, for me, I could not talk to the people that I wanted to come with me into doing that. And I was
mm-hmm.
totally upfront with them. And there's basically fees that have to be paid upfront for the year for your E&O and for other things. And it's a hefty amount, which makes sense if you're doing a lot of production, but not so much if you're not.
Hmm.
So again, there's many, many things that can get attributed and need to be looked at before you make decisions. But
Absolutely.
their technology, their people, um, I know plenty of fantastic Compass agents.
Good to know. Nice.
So the more you know.
Well, with that, that must be the end of our session.
I mean, I think I covered everything. Have you covered everything?
Yeah, I pretty much covered everything.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing is we end our In Three Nerds session with a mistake that we've learned from.
Do you have one?
And it's my turn this time to share my mistake.
It is. I
I
can't
had
make
a
all the mistakes, Tina. I can't.
I last time when you shared yours, I was like, I have a mistake. Well, since that time, I completely forgot what it was. So then I had to rethink. I'm like, okay, well, what mistakes have I mean, I made plenty of them, but I'm like, which one did I want to share? So the mistake that I wanted to share this week is that um well, I think I recently shared with you that I feel like I'm very distracted, much more than normal
Mm,
recently.
mm.
You know, being what we do, there's always urgencies, fires that we have to put out, and so you're getting pulled in different
Absolutely.
directions. If you're helping people or mentoring, you're pulled in those directions as well. And so, like, I felt like I've been very distracted recently, and I it takes a little bit more for me to get into my deep focus mental state. And so, I have a sort of ritual that I do. Nothing creepy. It's no sacrifices. Um, but I will like turn on my music, whatever I'm in the mood for. I will like light some candles. I will brew, like literally, I will brew like a pot of tea. Like, I don't know if you can see a pot of
I can
tea.
see it's a beautiful teapot.
Thank you. And so I have my drink and my candles and the scents and then my music, and then it's usually at the end of my workday. So in the evening when everyone's left the office, that's when I'll do like my deep dive. This is when I do my like it needs more brain power kind of stuff like accounting,
Yeah,
numbers,
focus stuff.
details.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
So I do those, and I had been kind of like anxious about recent accounting to have to do it. And, I kept like delaying. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on with me. Why do I keep delaying this? And so I was on this, it was like a planner website or something like that. And they said, why instead of writing a to-do list, of course, planner website. Not only do I do planner stuff, I also go to
Yeah.
planner websites.
As soon as you said that, I started laughing. Yes. Because I know you, friend.
So they said instead of writing a to-do list, write a what you're avoiding list. And I'm like,
Ooh.
this
And
is
that's your to-do
cool.
list. Mm-hmm.
I wrote my what I'm avoiding list and I expanded on that and I wrote why am I avoiding those things. So one of them was my monthly accounting. And then I tried to figure out my why. And I realized the reason I was delaying everything was because I ran out of candles.
Oh, friends. Now I know what
Yes,
I need to get you all the time is apparently candles.
it wasn't just running out of candles. Okay, so yes, I could go buy my own candles, but I had recently had a candle making day, and well, not recently, within the last year, I had a candle making day in the office where we were crafting, and I have a crock pot especially for making candles. It's like a regular crock pot, but it has a spout on the front to pour the wax out. I have the wicks, I have the scents, I have the soy wax. I have the jars and the tins. And so I didn't want to buy a candle because I wanted to make my candle. And it was such an ordeal to pull all of that stuff out to have a candle making day that it was delaying my routine to do my accounting. And that's what it was.
Which what do we always say? So there's the book called Eat the Frog, where you find out the thing, whatever it is, the biggest thing that you need to do first thing of the day. Because
Yes,
otherwise, our human nature is that we will put it off and put it off and put it off and not be as productive as we could. And it typically is never as bad as what we think it's going to be. We
oh,
build it up in our
absolutely.
head,
Yeah,
and it makes, yeah, it makes the day A, full of anxiety, and B, just
exactly.
not as productive as it should be.
Right. Once I realized it was the candle, I have my crock pot out. It's warming wax right now.
Heck yeah, girl.
Right? Yes. So I actually eventually did it because I had like a little nub of a candle left and so I like lit it and like did my work really fast. But I was like, wow, that anxiety regarding this was literally nothing about the accounting itself. I in my head I was like, oh, it's just too much, like, I'm delaying it because of that. It was not because of that. It was because of the darn candle.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
not
crazy
like
the
me.
things that we get. Yeah. Yeah.
I like
We get,
doing things. I mean, I like the closure because that brings me
oh, yeah.
peace. So it's not like me to procrastinate or delay. That just makes me worry more. And so the fact that I kept doing that was like, yeah. But try that things you're avoiding list.
Okay.
Yeah. That was my
Interesting.
mistake.
I will try that. I will try that tomorrow. And one of the other things I want to put on this podcast is just for everybody to be careful out there. There's, we're as agents, our job is to go to dark places with people we don't know. And I just want anybody that knows us or that knows other people just to stay vigilant and stay safe.
Yeah, absolutely. There have been a lot of stories recently, sad and negative ones. So,
Right.
yeah.
But we thank you for turning in just because I wanted to make it really dark
I
before making it light again.
know. What the heck? Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I just had to say, that you have something on your heart. You just have to do it.
Yes. No, no, you're
Um,
good. You're good.
but thank you for watching our newest episode of In Three Nerds We Trust.
Yeah.
I'm Jennifer Higgins, and this is,
I'm Tina Jan.
and thank you.
Bye. And that brings us to the end of another exciting episode of In Three Nerds We Trust. Thank you for listening and hanging out with us today. If you have any questions or topic suggestions, reach out to us at in3nerdswetrust@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you, so don't hesitate to reach out. If you found some value in today's episode and want to stay connected, here are a few ways you can do that. Subscribe to In Three Nerds We Trust on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Leave us a rating and review on any of the platforms. Your feedback helps us improve and reach a wider audience. Share this episode with friends, family, or anyone who might enjoy the thoughts and insights we shared today. We'll have a new episode every other week, so please stay tuned for more interesting topics. Thanks again for your support, and follow us on Instagram and YouTube as well.